Transformers 96th in the video review. This time we have the DC Comics Mattel Multiverse from the Wonder Woman movie line with the Wonder Woman figure with the Collect and Connect being Ares. So going over the box here, I do like the box's design. You have a nice Wonder Woman symbol in the back there, a good image of the character in the movie, and then the kind of Collect and Connect banner. On the back, you got a nice image of Ares and the figures that you need to complete him, as well as which figures come with which pieces. One thing I'll say before I start is this is not accurate. Number one, which we have here, the Wonder Woman, says that it comes with his left arm and his left leg. That is not accurate. She actually comes with his left arm and his right leg. And then the opposite is the case for her mother. So just want to mention that if you get this figure and you get pieces that are not what is said at the back here, don't be worried, because that's exactly what happened to me. I didn't have her mother when I got this figure, and I was like, did they pack the wrong piece for me? And I actually had to do some research to figure out that wasn't the case. So just be aware of that. Don't worry if you don't get the same side arm and leg as the package states that you should. So going over the actual figure here. The figure is alright. The head sculpt, I think that both of the Wonder Woman figures in this wave have much better head sculpts than their Batman v Superman counterpart. I don't own that figure, but I've seen it in the stores, and I've shrieked in terror every time I see it. It's not a good head sculpt, so I definitely think that there's a solid improvement here from that. However, it's still not perfect. I think that the structure of the face is pretty nice. The eyes are a little far out. I wish that they were facing forward. Like, it looks like she's looking into two different directions slightly, which is very annoying. It's something that it's not a huge issue, but it is noticeable if you are looking. And I will say that I did pick between, I think there was like 3 of her on the shelf, and I did get the best one here, and that still has that issue. So I would definitely hope that they do focus on getting their eyes properly positioned on their figures, because that seems to be a rather large issue when it comes to the women figures for Mattel. Her cloak area is pretty nice. It's nicely sculpted. I do like all the wrinkles in it and the way that it hangs. It looks very natural. Sometimes Marvel Legends has the tendency to flare out their stuff, so I do like the fact that Mattel did not do that, and they went with a very natural stance, which looks good. The arm, as you can see, looks very nice. It does have a bit of a paint splotch there from her skin color, so that's kind of annoying, small quality issue, but it is, small. And the fur that outlines it is sculpted really nicely. I think that the fur would have done nicely with like a white wash in it. I think that would look quite good, but that's not super necessary. I do think that it's still painted well. Her body underneath is like a standard Wonder Woman body. The only thing that's not like standard Wonder Woman on her are the biceps, and obviously the hood is attached to the head, so you can almost get her in a standard look, but not quite. But overall, it looks quite good. I do like the sculpting on her outfit there. I think it looks nice. And the colors, they're a bit bright. Wish that they were dimmed down a bit like they are in the movie. However, they're not as bright as the Batman v Superman one, if I'm not mistaken. So that is helpful. Her articulation is alright. She has a ball-jointed head, but there's so much going on there that it's very hindered, and it doesn't really do much. So you can get a slight movement out of that. Ball hinge shoulders with the bicep swivel, hinge elbows that also swivel, so she's got a swivel at 2 points, kind of unnecessary, but welcome. Swivel at the wrist. She has a swivel at the waist. Ball jointed, they have the Mattel jointed hips, which can hinge out and hinge forward. This is softer plastic, so you can manipulate it pretty nicely. However, it still does hinder it a bit. Swivel at the thigh, hinge at the knee. The hinge goes a pretty solid amount, pretty nice, and then just a hinge at the ankle. The hinge does work very nicely, however, really needs an ankle pivot. I think that's probably the biggest issue I have on these Mattel figures. Overall, her articulation is nice, however, hindered in the head, and then a big issue on this one that's usually not an issue for Mattel is the torso. There's no ab crunch, and there's no ball-jointed upper torso, like they did with Steve Trevor and Ares. That ball-jointed upper torso is so nice, but if they're not going to do the ball jointed upper torso and they're going to do a swivel, I expect a crunch with it as well. And unfortunately, the 2 Wonder Woman figures and her mother in this series do not have ab crunches. They simply have swivels at the waist, which is disappointing. She comes with her sword, which does look quite nice. I do like the sculpting on it. Let's see if I can focus. There you go. Does have some good sculpting on it. Looking pretty cool, and it is a completely unique sword, completely different from the sword that comes with her mother or the Themyscira Wonder Woman, so that is nice that they do come with completely individual swords. This is probably the weakest figure in the wave, in my opinion. I think it's lacking articulation. Having Wonder Woman in like a coat like this, I don't really see her fighting in the movie wearing this, so it's not particularly fun to pose, and therefore, I don't have a ton of fun with it. I really wish that this was just a standard Wonder Woman figure, because there isn't a standard Wonder Woman figure in this assortment. There will be one that's coming out that comes with Ares' shield, so it's not necessary in completing Ares, but you still get an extra piece for Ares with that, and I do plan to get that. However, I would have much rather just had that in the regular series and had this one be the one that came with the extra accessory, because it's not particularly a great figure, and I don't need a million different versions of Wonder Woman to complete like Ares, basically. But there you go. Overall, I wouldn't recommend this unless you're going to build Ares. If you don't plan to build Ares, there are better Wonder Woman figures. I think the Themyscira one is better than this one, and obviously the next one that's coming out, that's just the standard Wonder Woman, is better than this one. So I wouldn't recommend this unless you are completing Ares. But there you go. That's my video review of the DC Comics Mattel Multiverse Wonder Woman movie line Ares Collect and Connect series Wonder Woman figure with her black coat. Let me know what you guys think of this figure, and thanks so much for watching.